Hello everyone, I'm S.
I'm T.
Today we're playing a flash game.
Because we can. I turned off the music because the music is crazy loud in these games. But for them, I already know how to play. But this is Stickwars. Mission of the game, we're those guys there on the left, and we gotta kill the dudes on the right. And conquer the world. And that is our goal. What is your goal?
My goal is to slap peasants.
Attack!
Yeah, ow. Yeah.
Getting shot by this douche with a bow.
Stab him.
With our sticks. I'll give up now, man.
Give up. You will never win. My stick's too strong.
Strong. And now we beat up this big dumb statue until we win.
Stab his peasants. No, stab them.
See, the other guys are coming. The
Oh
reinforcements
no.
arrived.
Pointy objects are only weakness. How did you know?
Oh, this is on the way. Yeah, very good.
More minions going forth to fight.
And because money is the best, I will take control of you. I am assuming direct control. No.
I said assuming direct control, and he gets shot in the face. Like, I assume control, and he's like, no! Flee into the night.
And now it's time to get a bunch of dudes, because we got 3 miners working.
And then swarm them.
And then swarm them.
Oh no! They're attacking us. Slay them in the name of the Emperor.
I am the Emperor.
Exactly.
In my name, have at thee.
Ha! Too good for you.
Charge! Charge!
I wouldn't attack!
I am indeed leading the charge.
I'll try. I'm a damn ninja.
Beat up the statue, the game.
Take that, object with an archer. You needed Archronidinonus.
Archidonus, you idiot.
Archidonus. Whatever. You defeated Greek name. You've taken his thing. Castle income, hit points, archers, pickaxe. Apparently you can upgrade dudes.
I'll make my head thing fancier.
Sword Wrath, Spiritons, Pert Land, Meiji, Magic Hill, Westwind, No Man's, Ice Hills, Desert.
Those are all the zones we have to go to win. Survive into the sun sets.
We have been ambushed.
As we often are. Ambushed.
The fiend into the sun seats. Oh no, spears! Shaka Zulu sends his men.
Shaka Zulu? Where the hell is that?
King of the Shaka.
Oh no. Oh no.
The king of the king of the invaders.
Speaking of kings and invaders, let's get an archer. When's the next jackass is coming? Alright. Patience. Patience. It will get you places.
Yeah, so technically Zulu is like Philistine. It just means invader. So, yeah. And Shaka was a king.
Keep being a nerd, Sean.
Feel the power of my history skills.
Intelligence?
Yes. I like history. Can you tell? Ha!
Cha-cha slide. Yeah. Things go better when I assume direct control. Get another archer out. That'll make like 4. Yep, that'll make 4. And then infantry guys. And then we are good to go. Because 4 dudes with bows is a lot of dudes with bows in this game. We won.
Yay! Give me my cool hat. Yes.
Now I make like...
Now we're going to Sword Wrath, the wrathiest of all swords. He's no match for our basic clubs. Exactly. If we need to restart, there's a button for that.
Oh no.
Oh no, we need clubs.
One's coming. Everybody go back inside.
Retreat. Ha! Ho ha! Ha ha! Now he's dead.
Alright, now we can do this better.
Now we're winning.
Now
Our job is to conquer the pointy people.
The pointy people.
The pointy people.
Pointiest people.
I like how we just have basic clubs. That's our thing.
But we make lots of money.
We are Ordor. We are the mighty empire of Ordor.
Mordor.
Yes. Should with an O, so it's Ordor.
I think it's supposed to be
avoid
order.
copyright. Yes.
I think it's supposed to be order, but no, in my mind, we're the mighty empire of Mordor,
We are the Dark Lord.
conquering the lands
Dark Lord, Tyron.
with his
Army of clubs, and now
with his
Pointy sticks.
best man Sauron. Shauron.
Shaunaman. My lord, we have brought forth the pointy stick people. We have fought the point off the pointy stick people. Now we have the pointy stick launcher people. Yes. The archers.
I'm gonna get 5 archers, and then just a massive bunch of dudes
The archers.
with sticks.
And mighty Klubman.
The Klugman.
Now we're fighting the Sword Man. Sword Wrath. I will pronounce nothing correctly. That's right, internet. Nothing.
So I'm gonna get 5 of these dudes, and probably 6 of these dudes.
So many of them. So many of them, our arrows will blot out the sun. And that's right, none of you have shields. You're not Sparta.
You will not fight in the shade. Damn cat. Okay.
She has a fear of closed doors. Especially when you're in the bathroom trying to pee. You'll hear meow, meow. Yeah.
And now just beat up the big dumb statue.
Punch the statue. Quickly, use your clubs. Kluberman. Do it. Do it. Quickly, shoot wooden arrows at the stone statue. That
work.
will help.
It'll work.
Eventually.
Why you always gotta be such a hater, Sean? If I say it's gonna work, it's gonna work.
I didn't say it wasn't going to work. I just did what they were doing.
Well, hope you enjoy watching this for a minute.
We are winning.
I wonder what that guy's plan was.
Heroically charge. He's one who charge, waving his sword, going "Ah!" at us. I mean, it worked all the other times, right?
No.
That's just one dude shooting the guys in the back. Hey, you catch!
My arrow. This is very entertaining.
I think the clubmen did more damage to the statue.
Probably.
To get more clubmen, you have the cash. You have what it takes.
It's probably going to be destroyed by the time they get there.
I don't know. These guys are pretty bad at shooting statues. Yay. They fled to the hills. Get more archer damage.
Yep, and then I'm gonna increase these dudes.
The clubs. We haven't actually conquered the sword people yet.
We just conquered
This
the
is
sword
sad.
people.
But we don't have any swords. Apparently they have armor. This is heresy of the Most High. They have helmets. What are we going to do?
And real shields.
Oh no! How are our pointy sticks supposed to help?
Many.
We'll just get so many that they can't possibly block all of them. Unless they do, then fuck. I guess we're doomed. Go home, guys. We're not winning. Oh no! He's charging heroically. Retreat! Back to the keep! Oh shit.
God, you're a dick.
To the keep. He's immune to arrows. No! Oh, he died. Yes. Take his helmet quickly. Gain his strength.
This guy's a dick. Killed one of my mining dudes.
With a well-aimed spear toss. I want these people now. Oh no.
Well, after
About
we
to lose
kill-
another miner.
No!
Crap.
Fuck these guys. We have green arrows now.
They have been upgraded to do more damage.
At least the arrows like change appearance and stuff.
I wonder if the
like
clubs
that.
and stuff do too.
Yeah,
Like
no,
the
I know
wood
all the
sticks.
stuff changes appearance when you.
Ha! Oh, you didn't hit one of my miners this time. Ha! Yeah.
I watch ya.
I think these guys aren't massing up to attack us, or we'd be doomed.
Maybe not. Just probably. We're about to have 5 dudes with bows. How many dudes with clubs do you think we should get? You think that 5 and 8 strategy worked well?
Yes.
Hey, there's a timer at the top of this one, so I know how long we've been recording. You don't actually need to set the timer. Ha!
But I did.
Yes, you did.
You bastard. You could have told me not do things, but you did.
That's because you never do anything. Because I play all the games.
For now.
Except Warhammer. But that's only sometimes.
That should be one more, and then we'll have 8, and then we can get covered.
Which are so much cheaper. They're good.
What's the enemy
once they
doing
get
right now?
Swords. What's the enemy doing?
Oh no, they're massing! Critical mass.
There's 3 of them, Sean.
They insta-kill. They gib units with one hit, though.
This is why we'll have a wall of dudes who can get gibbed.
Get got. Click, clap, bam.
What is your obsession?
My obsession has to do with cats, cat pictures, and baked goods. What does the crown do again?
Increases how much gold I make per second. Without miners. I make like 10 per second.
Are you ready? Charge! Yeah!
We're champions, yeah.
I'm a champion! Charge, men! Unleash the pointy sticks of destiny! Clubs! Bludgeon them! Aha! Your miners are no match for our blunt force object to the head.
Revenge!
Revenge of the club. Get more clubmen. We must damage the statue more. More door. More doors are required. Oh no.
Our arrows will block out the sun.
I mean, out that sun is huge. Look at that. Look at that thing. Damn.
I mean, block out the sun, I mean you're gonna die, so you're never gonna see the sun again.
No.
We're not actually just gonna we're not gonna blow up the sun with our arrows.
Yet.
Need that to farm our food.
We need that to build more farms. We got them. That was madness.
Now, do you want to replace, basically just use these guys instead of these guys?
Yes. Look at that.
Alright, so health, block, damage.
I don't know. Their health is pretty. I don't know. More beefy health.
Got a better hat.
Got a cool hat. What do our arrows look like now that they're made of kill?
I think they're, like, flaming.
The soldiers are attacking! Oh no!
Their butt hurt about what happened.
Oh no, their butts are so hurt. At sunset, so we need to prepare
Oh. So
our bodies.
we can just get 3 miners, right?
Yes, and then we can build archers and speartrons.
Spiritons.
Speartrons 5000.
Spiritron. Well, we can,
Speartrons 1.1.
we'd only give them new names once they get better. Because right now they're just nerds with cool helmets.
But we upgrade the helmet so they're speartrons.
Alright, so
1.1.
how many Spiritons should we get?
Probably 2.
No, let's make it 4. Let's make it 4.
Making the miners faster probably would help.
Yeah, we're probably gonna do that too.
Because right now the servants only gather like,
100.
really slowly. This is acceptably. Acceptably. Speartrons. Look at them standing there.
I've probably beaten this game like half a dozen times.
All speary. Oh, they form a shield wall. That's pretty cool.
Yes, they do.
Oh no, the sun's setting too quickly. Sun, stop it. Stop that. Stop it. No, bad. Stop setting. No, bad. Bad sun. Stop it. Who needs clubmen when you can have pointy sticks?
Let's see how these guys are doing over here.
There's a bunch of them.
Damn it.
How can the universe survive?
I think we'll be able to have 4 and 4. At least. We might be able to pull off more. But I don't think so. No, definitely do not think so.
Get more clubmen. Anything, just try to stall the horde. Their arrows are on fire. Or they'll just get owned.
Horde stalled.
Oh no, there's more of them.
Did any of them die last time? I mean, any of ours? No. Does not look like it.
Like, I think the arrows just instant gib now.
The gib losers like these, yes.
The instant gib arrows. Oh, the arrows explode. And we should get Spartan next. I mean, a dude with a helmet.
Helmet guy.
Yes. Sparta! The Spiritrons.
Now we're gonna
That
type in
was
nerd
sad.
mages. So faster?
Yeah.
Both of them? Just put both points into it?
Yeah, I think so. Make them suck less. Mage kill.
Magic.
This land is ruled by mages who are known to have a spell. Oh no, we're fighting anime.
Oh no.
They have a spell.
No, they have like 3 spells.
We're fighting all 3 clans. Oh no.
They know, no, but all of them know all 3 spells. They know
Sorcery.
they know like Fireball, Summon Monster, and Confusion.
That's all very useful, actually. Useful spells.
Those are 3 actually fairly useful spells.
Mine
And then-
faster, peasants. Oh, they have dude with pointy, things. Blam. Wow, they just click, clap, just bam. Our archers are really good now.
Also, because our miners mine so quickly. because I didn't upgrade their how much they carry.
Only how fast they carry?
So it didn't do the counterbalance. No. The
Can they-
fuck?
Apparently they missed a bunch. Because they forgot how to shoot.
Apparently they're not very good at shooting straight.
How do you do that? Aim! How? Get more Spartans. Get more Spiritrons.
Spiritrons.
Look at them, they just stand like that. They're Spiritrons.
I have two of them.
Is anyone else playing Lord of the Rings music in their head right now? Dun 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 dun. Oh no, magic! Shoot them. Yes. What's the wizard doing now? Is he in shooty range? No, he's just sitting there being annoying and hobbling backwards.
Acting all old. Because he is old.
Nerd. It took him 40 or 80 years to get useful. These guys are bad mages. Well, level 2.
Probably level 3, because they all know first level spells.
That's sad.
Firebolt, Summon Monster 1, and
Firebolt's a cantrip. That's right, people. We play D&D. Ha! I'd build more Spiritrons.
Hold on.
Or I'd build one more Spirit. No, that's... Okay. That'd be 4 Spiritrons.
No, we have 5.
Oh.
5, because they all count as 1, so 3 there, 5 there, 5 there.
Build more farms. Or units. Build more archers?
Even amount.
What are they doing? Oh, they're just charging because there's too many?
No, they're moving forward, because there's too many. Too many of them.
It keeps you from camping in your base all day?
No, the gold mine in the back fell apart, so now they gotta go to the ones right there.
Those spiky crystal things.
Yeah. So are we gonna want more of them or more of them?
Just get more archers.
Oh, yeah,
No,
one more
I
archer
feel like we need to get more Spiritrons.
and 2 more spiritrons.
Yes.
And we'll have our full legion.
Now, what are we going to upgrade on next on the Spiritrons?
We will decide once we're up.
Darth helmet. Dun, 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 dun. Ah,
come
man,
back.
it's really hard to breathe in this thing.
That's a bit ironic, but
Have you seen Spaceballs?
not in like 10 years.
We need to watch it again then. One day we'll just have to sit down and watch a bunch of movies.
Yeah, one of those days.
Mm-hmm. Mulan, Spaceballs, that kind of thing.
That's quite the jump. Mulan and Spaceballs.
Yes.
Do. Except this time we're the murderous invaders, so think more Urukai theme.
Dun, 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 dun.
Stop making musical noises with your mouth.
No.
For copyrighted music.
Okay.
So now we're just gonna watch these dudes break this.
Jesus. I'm not good at commentary. Unless
I
we're
know.
watching a really bad movie. Then I'm great at commentary. But right now, all we're watching, what we're doing is
We
watching
could
the
do
minutes
our
go.
own like mystery science theater video.
And then you get copyrighted.
Well, we could look for freeware movies who aren't owned by anybody anymore.
Movies so old and so ancient that everyone's dead.
No, it's
movies
usually
that
for
have been disowned.
usually for movie businesses that went out of business
Oh.
and nobody ever bought the rights to
They're
them.
like, this movie wasn't that very good.
Like, you can't pirate a game that nobody owns, like legally owns, because the company was disbanded and nobody ever bought the rights.
No.
So it's an abandonware game.
Like,
So
is
you-
Empire Earth an abandonware game? Since Ciara went out of business?
No, I think somebody bought Empire Earth though,
Oh.
because it's still sold. So somebody has to still be selling it. So now,
Fancy hats? What do you want to increase? Yes. And probably increase their hats. No, shield. Yes, now they don't suck.
well, they didn't suck before. They were pretty badass.
We're heading to Pertland. What does Pertland do again?
They've
Oh, it's
teamed up.
neutral. It's neutral. It's just Pertland.
Parkland.
Wait, are they actually massing more than one unit now?
Yeah, it's the archers and the sword dudes came together.
Oh no. They're starting to do what we've been doing this whole time.
But like really badly because they don't upgrade their men.
We are the masters of upgrades. No! Yes. Shoot him. Ha! Oh, our castle didn't upgrade its archers.
No, because there's its own upgrade for that. Boom! There we go. Magic exploding arrows. Work much better than normal not exploding arrows.
Yeah. Oh, don't we have Empire Earth?
I think.
We have those CDs around here. I should go grab them. Maybe we could do a thing on Empire Earth.
That'd be interesting. Let's do a special feature. Let's increase the length of this episode so we just get it done in one shot.
Alright, I get more archers.
I'd turn off the timer.
How are you? Empire Earth is one of those going through the ages games I really enjoyed.
Yeah, Empire Earth was pretty good, if I remember correctly.
Have the archers longer range than ours?
Do. Probably. Oh, apparently not.
I'd put the men back in the fortress line. We're gonna get the spirit guys next.
Yeah.
Line faster.
They went really fast.
Not fast enough. A newfie.
A newfie?
A newfie. Yeah, Empire Earth was one of those games I really liked. Prehistoric all the way to space. It kind of set the standard for what I thought a going through the ages game should be. And
Rise of Nations was pretty cool.
Rise of Nations actually was really fun, and I kind of wish that someone could combine the two.
I really wish I had friends who had Rise of Nations.
Yeah, Rise of Nations was actually a really fun thing. The fact that you couldn't destroy cities, right? You captured them.
I liked the idea of destroying all of somebody's military buildings and then taking over their city.
Yeah.
I just wanted to say a size comparison between those guys and those guys.
It was really fun. I kind of hoped we had always thought that combining the two would be a great idea. You know?
Mages are expensive.
Yeah. But combining the two, Age of Empires and Rise of Nations, or Empire Earth and Rise of Nations, that kind of going through the ages, right? Starting from like 0 going to all the way to space, but with that kind of system.
Yeah.
So my thing would be in the prehistoric, you're kind of nomadic. So you take your buildings with you. Type thing. That's the difference in prehistoric and stone, is that stone is when you settle down and start doing stuff.
Focus more on just
Building up that kind of...
No, making it, you start thinking about making it past just tomorrow.
Yeah, when you find that nice area. Usually it's like with prehistoric ends when you find that really nice area, and you're like, this is where
and stone and tribal begins when people start killing each other for these really nice areas.
Yeah, prehistoric starts with like skirmishes. Like you'll like kind of throw rocks at each other to get each other out of the way. Like, no, this is my rock area. Piss off. And they're like, no, bushes. And you're like, damn you, these bushes are mine. You know, that.
Damn you and your bushes.
Because apparently archaeological evidence has found that people have been stabbing each other over things like that forever.
Well, obviously.
Forever.
We didn't become a new species. People are the same yesterday, today, and forever.
Yep.
That's why people still kill each other.
For the same reasons, as they always have.
We didn't just get over it.
didn't get over it.
That's one of the weirdest things to me. That people have, like, they always say that we're always better. Like, not just technology-wise, but, like, society-wise.
Which is why we have all the same problems people had. Like the core fundamental issues that they've always had.
Because it always stems from people thinking that they are better and deserve more for one way or another.
Mm-hmm.
Either not having it and thinking you deserve to have it, or having it and thinking you're better for it.
I get martyrs. Yeah.
I mean, it's what brought Europe to so many of its wars, because they always thought that they were better than each other. For whatever reason, they decided they were better.
Imperialism and colonialism stemmed from these people are not as advanced as we are culturally. Well, they viewed culturally because they didn't have the same culture as them, or at least did not bow to their monarchs or didn't speak the same language, right? But they were technologically superior in a lot of ways, with the power of boats,
Guns.
and like how the beginnings of the Industrial Revolution with the weaving and the Renaissance. They achieved great things in the Renaissance, and were generally more stable as nations than the people they went to, who were usually facing some sort of horrible, crippling issues, civil wars, famines, bad rulership, or just general tribal societies that really didn't stand a chance. They didn't stand up. They didn't have the same unity, or even military structure that Europe had gained
Through time.
Time and the war and war.
And Rome.
Mm-hmm. Rome laid a good groundwork.
Rome laid a very good foundation that Europe was very lucky to adopt, and very intelligently they never got rid of it, which is always a common issue with things like that, because sometimes people just decide maybe we can do something better. But they took what Rome had, and though they changed it in a lot of ways, they never got rid of the fundamental ideals of constructing a proper society.
Yes, they had a very good foundation on which to build on, and they took advantage of it. I think that's what made the difference between Western Europe and Eastern Europe. Rome never marched into Eastern Europe, who had to rely upon their old traditional methods, right, without the foundation that Rome laid. And Western and Central Europe had the advantage of the system Rome laid. Germany conquered a lot of old Roman territory, German tribes, so they got that groundwork infused into them, even though Rome never took them. And that also went up north after King Edward got those Viking mercenaries and betrayed them.
Yes.
And the Germans conquered Scandinavia, the Crusaders. They infused that groundwork into Norway and Sweden, who also brought stuff back like that from the Crusades. The Crusades also caused a mass infusion of knowledge, whether it was the Reconquista or the Third Crusade. They brought that stuff back with them, including military.
Now,
proper military fighting.
I've seen a lot of people talk about, especially lately, it seems that the Crusades are a very popular thing again to, I suppose, bash Christianity as a whole, but I've noticed that they don't really know anything about the Crusades, and frankly, neither do I. I just know that they happened to somebody.
Crusades. All right, Jerusalem was held in non-Christian hands, Muslim hands to be exact. Now, from what I have gathered from the time period, there were a lot of Bedouin bandits. They say the societal structure of the Abbasids, the caliphate that ruled the area, was that, yes, they ruled out of Cairo. Yes, they did have a good, strong army, and things were relatively safer in Egypt, right, on the roads, in the cities. But as it has always been in Arabia, though there have all been tribes that were independent of the caliph, who had their own standing force and are very militaristic. They had a tendency to raid things like the roads and attack pilgrims and traders and travelers going to Jerusalem and Acre and other holy sites like Alexandria, which is in Egypt. They'd still, Berber pirates would still attack ships heading to Alexandria from Tripoli and Tunis in Africa. So one of the popes, I think Pius, declared that this would not stand and that it would be better for Jerusalem, the holy site, for a lot of Christians, Muslims, and Jews, to be under their control, under Christian, specifically Catholic control. So he rallied the kings of Europe, and a lot of them, like the big boys, France, England, different. They even tried to get Frederick Barbarossa, the Holy Roman Emperor, to join.
How'd that go?
He took one look at the clusterfuck that was him. Like the Mongols, took one look at the clusterfuck that was Jerusalem. What was the Crusades? What was going on? And left.
Very wise man.
He turned the largest army in Europe around and went home. Now, the Crusades were a mess. They really don't talk about how the Christians would capture a city, right, like Jerusalem, and kill everyone, Muslim and Christian and Jew, right? They talk about them doing that, and then they don't talk about the jihadists taking the city, and then killing Muslims, Christians, and Jews.
They both did it.
See, Saladin was special because he didn't slaughter everyone. Both sides weren't particularly good. It devolved into them trying to kill each other. It ended with Saladin winning. The movie The Kingdom of Heaven, with the blacksmith. Yeah, he was actually recorded having done those things. He was recorded. His story was that he killed a priest in France. He went on to, his father was a mercenary, and he went with him to Jerusalem. And he really did meet Baldwin, the leper king, and Saladin.
Keep going, Sean.
And really did knight the male population of Jerusalem to hold the walls, because only knights were allowed to actually be on the walls. So he knighted Muslim, Christian, and Jew to defend their city. And he's the one who made the conditional surrender to Saladin.
Well, who was Saladin? Tell me who
Saladin was remembered better by the Christians than the Muslims, who view him as an awful Muslim, or his unwillingness to, kill the infidel. Modern Muslims.
Keep going. Don't.
He appeared in history in the Third Crusades as a very capable general and administrator, and being very, very tolerant. Even so much as having one of his generals convert to Christianity in the whole thing, and not having him put to death, as is the punishment for converting from Islam, because to convert from Islam is sentenced to death.
That was at the time, at least. That's how it was at the time.
Yeah.
That was kind of how everyone did it at the time, to be honest.
You convert, you die.
The Christians would kill you, the Muslims would kill you, the pagans would probably kill you. I don't really know anything about the pagans.
That's a whole weird bag of worms, because they lump a bunch of very separate religions into the same group because they're polytheistic, though some of them they lump as pagan, like Tingrism, the Mongolian one, is monotheistic. They only have one god. Tingri. So,
yeah, they
not,
like to lump all paganisms together, even if they are nothing alike, or hell, even if the different pagan groups absolutely despised each other.
Even if Tengri is more along the lines of a monotheistic religion, like related to Judaism, Christianity, Islam, then like Germanic paganism, they still lump it in the same category. It's because it's not based in an Abrahamic root. But I digress. Saladin led the victory and took back the Holy Land, and then disappeared from history. He was written very highly.
Shields, helmets, or spear?
Helmets. They need more health.
Both times?
A shield next. There you go. the Crusaders wrote very highly of Saladin. He was considered very honorable in his time. Later on, he was, cried as a heathen and a heretic and infidel and all that. But in his time that he lived, and the kings and the Crusaders went back, he was considered very highly. He actually, a lot of the captured Crusaders that he had went home. He sent them home instead of killing them. And he was seen very favorably because pilgrims could actually head to Jerusalem without being molested by Berbers or Bedouins for a long time. For a few hundred years before it degraded
fell
again.
apart, I assume.
A few hundred years later, it completely degraded.
So what happened to Jerusalem?
Jerusalem. Well, the Crusaders attacked Jerusalem, slaughtered its inhabitants. The jihadists attacked Jerusalem, slaughtered most of its inhabitants, and it changed hands like that multiple times by the time Saladin got there, and that was the kind of setting he was in. The Crusaders had just retaken Jerusalem.
And killed everyone there.
Well, yeah, it was only a fraction of the population it had. The city wasn't doing too well. Places like Acre, Antioch, former holdings of the Byzantine Empire, who at that point had shrunken due to politics and invasion. Mostly the politics not helping the invasion, like the Battle of Mezikert that occurred just 200 years prior, where the nobles, the feuding and plotting nobles in Constantinople, completely betrayed the army on the front and left them to the Turks. The army was also facing a plot between the general and the second in command, trying to take over the generalship, to the point where it screwed over the army in the field, and the Turks won, and then burned and pillaged every city in the area. Because up until the Sultanate of Rome, the founder of modern Turkey, who decided to start taking over things, their primary thing was to burn and pillage. Enslaving the inhabitants or killing them and taking other things.
And that was standard. Just kill them, take all the things.
Yes. It was very messy back then. Now, the Crusades, honestly, were a mess. But it was a mess on both sides. And a lot of people nowadays focus on what horrible things the Catholics did way back when. Right? That's their argument.
Fair. I think we should just call out both teams.
Both were not good. Everyone was punching everyone else for ancient grudges. And some people were doing it for God, and other people were doing it for money.
There were plenty of mercenaries.
Plenty of people who didn't really care. There were even pagan mercenaries fighting in the Holy Land. On both sides.
Money's money.
Money's money. And it was a rich area. A lot of trade flowed through there, between the Silk Road. So, wonders of the world right there. You take one ship full of loot back home, you're set for life. You got a king's fortune. Merchants would make one trip along the Silk Road and be rich, set for life. That's the kind of wealth that was there. So you can see why people wanted it. Now, what happened? So that's what happened with the Crusades.
All of them? They were all about that?
The Third Crusade's the most popular one. The First Crusade was the first crusade ever launched. I'm not quite familiar with the second one. I don't think the second one really went anywhere. I think it was shorter and it failed miserably. The First Crusade was the first time they launched an attack, and there were a lot of Muslim raids on coasts in Europe.
At the time?
At that time, and the Pope at that time really wanted to crusade across the whole Muslim world to actually stop them
from raiding Europe.
Yes, raiding Italy. They were actually we were even raiding Rome itself. There was at one point.
That's kind of impressive.
There was one point in that time period in the 10th century when the First Crusade was launched out, the Muslims conquered South Italy. Were actually threatening, one of the Amars was actually threatening Rome itself. He even made the declaration that he would kill the Pope.
So, which upgrades?
Probably the shield. And yes. made the declaration that he kill the Pope and take Rome.
Well, I don't think he was kidding. He was doing pretty good there for a while.
The Normans, he launched a mini crusade there, and the Normans, the ever adventurous Normans, took over Sicily and
That's not good.
Naples. No, it isn't.
The giants are coming. The giants are coming.
The Third Crusade is the most popular crusade because it's the crusade that is the most documented. It was the last crusade that actually went to the Holy Land. Fourth Crusade just sacked Constantinople, and the fifth, sixth, and seventh were in Eastern Europe. Poland, Lithuania.
But the most popular ones talked about these days are the ones that had to do with the Muslims because of
Third Crusade.
America's whole Trump's new Muslim thing going on. Which, to be honest, I'm not really going to talk about.
Politics is bad. Politics is poisonous. You talk about politics, and next thing you know, everyone's trying to kill you. Oh no, he's slapping our statue. Oh crap, he's really slapping our statue. How did you beat this guy the first time?
Swordsman.
Do we actually have swordsmen?
No, we have club dudes.
We're gonna lose our statue.
Yes, we are.
It's all over. Range units do reduce damage to him. Spartans!
We're gonna need 2 of those.
Alright, so yeah, that is the... Not... I mean, you can go super in-depth with it. The Third Crusade and the ramifications and what they Crusaders brought back. Technologically, culturally, and militarily. I can talk about the founder of Sweden. Really, its independence from Denmark.
A lot about the Crusades because I've talked to plenty of people, right, who are lately have been writing on the Christians because of it, and I'll ask them about the Crusades and they won't know anything. Like anything at all. They just know that the Christians killed somebody, sometime.
Both sides were killing all the sides. The Jews really were caught in the middle. To be perfectly honest, they really were kind of caught in the middle because they didn't own anything
at the time.
But I mean, they had their enclaves and where they held important positions. Sometimes, in the different caliphates, because they went along the Silk Road. China didn't particularly care if you were Jewish, so they did a lot of trade along the Silk Road. They held a lot of enclaves out everywhere. So they spread out throughout Europe and the Middle East, in places that would not try to kill them. They also had a place in Ethiopia, in Beta Jerusalem. That's what they called it. Because the Ethiopian emperors declared it declared it like a safe zone. It was theirs. While they swore fealty to the emperor, it's a place where they could actually be there.
Without scrutiny?
Yes. Where they could follow their religious laws without feeling the wrath of the church type thing.
Who are very wrathful individuals.
It was the Coptic church. The Pope was in Their Pope was in Alexandria, or still is, which is in Egypt, which is under Muslim, which was and still is under Muslim control.
The 3 Spiritans. Just make sure you can't get to the statue.
Now, we were talking about, yes, the Crusades were very melty, bloody business, and it was ultimately...
For nothing?
No, it had an extreme influence. Everything from Sweden's successful rebellion against the King of Denmark, because at the time they were actually under control of Denmark. The King of Denmark was the King of Sweden, the King of Norway. One of the Crusaders, a veteran...
We're gonna die, by the way.
Probably.
Maybe not.
A veteran came back from the Crusades and unleashed the military tactics that the Crusaders and the Muslims and everyone else who had fought down there had on a people still very much Dark Age in their combat, their tactics. And he destroyed an army 10 times the size of the Sweden's army that battle.
So it's probably going to be about an hour-long episode, everybody.
If my history isn't wrong. But he made Sweden independent. He actually laid the groundwork that made Sweden independent of Denmark, which led to Sweden's war in the 14th to 18th century? 17th. Because the 18th century, the 1800s are called the 19th century.
Is that where the 2000s is the 21st century?
Mm-hmm. Yes. So the First Crusades were in the 11th century, and the Third Crusades were in the 14th century. The 13th to 14th century. They lasted quite some time.
Really gonna need a lot of spear tins to win this fight. How many do you think we're gonna need? 10?
Probably. I'll get another one.
At least that one's almost dead.
Throw your spears! What are you doing? Throw the spears. No. Alright. But yes, the Crusades were a mess, but no one wants to know all the Christians were, even though that was really the last large-scale religious war like that. Because the rest of the Crusades were only really fought by a few people. The Fourth Crusade, the Crusader army just sacked Constantinople on Venice's whim. You know. The 5th, 6th, and 7th were mostly fought by the Teutonic Order. And they were fighting against, like, Lithuania. Pagan Lithuania. The pagan bits of Poland. I think later on, Poland itself. Catholic Poland.
So the Christians fought each other a lot, too.
Yeah, everyone fought each other a lot. Because they were calling all different together. Normally at war. The different caliphates, the different emirates, the different kingdoms. Not everyone. The crusade was supposed to bring everyone together.
Which it did.
And the jihads were supposed to bring everyone together on their respective sides, but there was still the extreme conflict. France and England did not play nice in the sandbox with each other. For example, the different emirates did not play nice in the sandbox. Saladin had his weird force of Christians and Muslims working to restore peace and order to the Holy Land, in his words. Fighting against both the jihadists and the Crusaders, because neither of them liked him particularly much. Because, he was like a third party. He really was.
It represented neither side.
Yes.
Because both sides wanted to kill him.
And honestly, today's thing is trying to implant modern political views onto a conflict that happened 1,000 years ago. Legitimately now, almost 1,000 years ago. In a different world entirely. It's one of those problems people seem to have, I've noticed. They try to implant modern views
And
philosophy on times where things were different. They really were. And it doesn't mean that they were good times, but they were different times. Politics, philosophy, what was going on is
what was right and what was wrong.
Entirely different in those days.
What qualified as evil and not evil, and what was allowed and was not allowed.
Yes. As one archbishop said in France during the Catholic Crusade, which called the Kingdom of Aquitaine, followed to France, to become part of France. When the soldiers asked Toulouse, because there were still Catholics living in Toulouse, not everyone was Catholic, they asked, well, how are we going to find out if they're heretics or not? He said, kill them all, God will know his own. That kind of marked the philosophy that the Crusaders and the Jihadists had. If they're righteous, they have nothing to fear. If they're not, then they have everything to fear. Is that ideology?
Obviously.
There's 2 of them. I don't think we're gonna get.
Fall back. Fall
Get
back.
out of shield wall. Run, you fools! So yeah, a lot of people talk about how awful the Christians are because they don't really want to talk about what peace happening now. Because what's happening now is pretty bad. In a lot of ways, the Muslim world never really changed. Sure, it started with the Europeans in the imperial and colonial era, really taking advantage of those military tactics and all the advances they had made, and all the new technology allowed them to go farther and faster to be able to claim more land around the globe for their various reasons. It really enabled them to do more.
And there's no reason why they shouldn't have done more.
Yeah, they look at the UK.
It's why we should have taken damage, by the way, Sean, at some point.
The UK built a colossal empire. They took advantage. They had all the resources. They had everything necessary to actually build the massive empire. They had the army. They had the navy. They had supplies. They had the tactics. They had everything.
Now we just gotta hope that these guys will be enough to destroy what's left of the statue.
But the Muslim world never went through a renaissance. They never had a reformation. So the same ideology that they had then, is what they actually have now. Because all that happened was an interregnum, where the great powers they never really changed.
There was never really any reason to change.
Yes. There was never a push. So what we have now is the same ideology from the Crusades when the rest of the world has changed around it. But it itself has not changed. And that's the problems people are actually... That's the problem people are having trouble with. That's the difference. Which is why they keep bringing up the Crusades, saying, well, these guys have the right to be angry. 800 years ago, the Catholics, from a completely different church now, because the modern Catholic Church is completely different, even to what they believe in, than that one. Because in that time, Jesus was not even was a minor figure in the Catholic Church. It was Mary, which was the primary.
Primary.
Yes. Mother Mary.
It was a very different world.
It was a very different world.
Where everything was different, even like the church was different.
Yes. And they're using that. These people would want to kill them. It's medieval, the rationality that they're using, that the Muslims are using. It's because you don't believe that they do, so therefore you are a heretic, and their imams, they believe their God demands your death.
Still believe it.
They still believe it.
And
they believe and they, like in the old days, they believe that anyone, no matter even if they're Muslim or not, doesn't follow their sect, that they're heretics. So there's heathens and heretics, and they're trying to
kill them both.
Yes.
To some extent. Only some, but I mean, I feel like the only some argument has never been valid, because you can say that about everybody. You could have said that about the Nazis. You can say that about the Crusaders. Not all the Crusaders were downtown with murdering everyone who lived in Jerusalem. But that's not a viable excuse.
There's Crusaders, when the time came, marched with Saladin. But they were only a small minority.
Not all Nazis were down with gassing the Jews. Not all of them were okay with that. There were many of them who weren't. But we don't remember them.
Mm-mm. You don't remember people like that or what they did particularly much, because it's not atrocious. People remember the atrocities because of how dark they are.
I mean, that's just how it is.
That's how history remembers things, and how men remember things. Human beings in general. Now,
That's just how the cookie crumbles.
yeah. Well, yeah, the Crusades are just kind of a mess in general. Yeah, the Crusades are just kind of a mess in general. The real thing that really changed things was what was brought back from the Crusades. All the things that they had learned and applied. It's not that they just learned them, because anybody could have gone there and learned it but then not used it. No, it was applied. They actually applied what they had learned. The Crusaders came back and applied what they had learned to the military tactics of Europe. Why France and England suddenly had these large professional armies. They had a lot of Crusaders who came back. Their kings came back and had this in-depth knowledge of tactics and fighting. Ways of fighting that hadn't been seen in Europe since the days of the Roman Empire. The fall of Constantinople also attributed a lot of stuff to the Renaissance, because knowledge, a lot of Greek works for the Greeks and Latin, were brought by the fleeing Byzantines to Rome, to Italy, the birthplace of the Renaissance.
Yeah.
And just because it was Greek and Latin, they translated many of these works into Latin that weren't already in Latin, and the Italians got philosophy and Roman works, stories, and one of the popes really liked it and declared them as stories. You see, it wasn't the story about, say, stories about like Zeus, things like that. They're just made up stories. They're really real, so they're like when the Byzantines explained to it, it's just stories, right?
And they're not even proclaiming that they're real. They're actually proclaiming that they're not real.
Yes, look at the silly, it's stories about the human condition, using the Greek gods as a basis. We made those guys beefy. The Spiritrons. Mark Doom. But, yes, it made it okay to read. It made it okay to publish. Well, publish. Later it became okay to publish when the printing press was
Invented.
Yes. Well, brought back from China. The printing press was already in use in China. They just adopted and modified it because they found some during the Crusades. Because they took emirs' palaces, they took the scribes, they took very wealthy areas that had this kind of stuff, imported from China along the Silk Road, because they were wealthy enough to get it. Not everyone had it, even in the Middle East. But they took places like Jerusalem, Antioch. I think they briefly took Cairo. Briefly, they might have. Not quite sure on that one.
Yep, full damage on our Spiritans is crazy.
Yeah, the real influence of the Crusades was what was brought back, and what happened after. But a lot of people nowadays talk about the issues.
Ancient philosophy is many ancient philosophies are about a world that
Problems that we don't have. Plato's The Republic was about when in Athens, where he lived. Only adult males with land boat, and all they did all day was sit around and talk. They didn't work. They didn't know how anything worked. Everything was run by slaves. They were weighted hand and foot on and the Athenian people were generally cowed. They didn't really have much to be right. Actually, Plato's The Republic was built around the idea that from originally, before he went to Athens to be a philosopher. A responsibility to run the nation, where the people themselves were responsible
for the place that they lived.
Yes. It's actually, Plato's Republic is one of the founding things for the United States, along with Rome and Sparta. Actually, Sparta, the city-state, was one of the things that the founding fathers admired. The idea that the people themselves were responsible, and was not resting in the hands of just a single group, but everyone.
Because that would have led up to the revolution to begin with.
Yes.
Somebody far, far away that they didn't care about, didn't live in.
Didn't know about, like the outlying of guns, even though it was still a frontier. There were raids and attacks by Indian tribes and hostile by bandits and other such things. That was most people's lives outside of the cities. They had to deal with that on a constant basis, and therefore owning weapons. Safe streets of London. It was a bigger problem that criminals had guns.
It was basically the police.
Yep.
And the police.
Well, they did. They had constables. But you can't really risk these people trying to, well, kill somebody important. Attack a treasury or something like that. Attack something more important, like a depot. Something that was needed. Because they had a big empire at that point. In the 17th, by the time of the American Revolution, when things started getting bad in America with the Boston Tea Party and all that, England was pretty big. Great empire. Spanning. Because no matter where you were,
the sun was shining somewhere?
Yep. Somewhere over territory they controlled, the sun was shining.
Alright, this is the final mission, everybody.
And yeah, but having that, one of the big things I discovered, my viewing of history.
You'd stop mumbling.
Is that there were unique problems that they never really, even Rome had never really faced before. A lot of their land was across oceans. It was on other continents. It was dealing with people that were entirely foreign cultures. People who didn't look anything like they'd ever seen before. And it were unique problems for societies that had been rather insular up until that point.
Like the questioning of black people were human. It's obvious now that black people are just that. They're just people. But back in those times, nobody had ever seen one.
They had seen them if they were Moorish, and if they were from the Middle East. But there were debates in that time whether the Celts were human.
Who looked just like they did.
Whether or not different groups were human, what was human and subhuman. It's where things like evolution really came to the forefront, because people wanted answers. And there was a lot of in that time, a lot of resentment against the church, but which had really held control over everything for so long, that when things like the Church of England came to the forefront, in England, not the Catholic Church, but the Church of England, King Henry's church, Protestant Reformation, all that, it led to a period of unrestricted thought. There was a lot of people were questioning everything and anything, and that was some of the questions asked. What was human? What wasn't? What was the truth? Where did everyone come from? Was the church right? Were they wrong? There was also a lot of politics. If the church has no power, and I can maintain control.
Because if they're wrong.
Yes. Uncomfortable around
Forever.
The monarch rule. Why are the nobility in power if they're just men? If they're
Funny thing, monarchy, the divine right to rule. Oh man. Now, but it seems they always seem to forget very conveniently that the only reason why their kings held power for divine right to rule, or so they would say.
The church said that God himself made it to where the kings ruled. It was God's will. Powerful. You're excommunicated. You have no right. No divine right. It's gone. It was gone. Not what Darwin proposed, which is natural selection. Minister, Church of England, and he was a passionate minister. Which is accurate and completely. Because it's unproven, absolutely. Ooh.
Yeah, their statue turns into a titan. It's not great.
No.
For us.
Yeah. Modern evolution formed from different philosophers at the time. I don't know their names off the top of my head. I've researched them and what they thought. It was from all over Europe. They're all from all over Europe. A lot of them rebelling against the authority of the church. And it created something very convenient for the ruling groups. Because it meant that evolution meant that they could have a claim to be superior, right?
Whatever form
their superiority for the local group said it was.
Racial
they could just have been their people naturally want someone superior ruling over them. Wolves, the bigger and stronger, are alphas. They used that philosophy, that they were naturally superior because they were in charge. The origins of evolution can be said to be trying to maintain control over a population, the traditional feudal way, without using the church as a foundation, to make sure the church did not have power, but you did, to make you, the king or the noble, have more control. In radically different societies with different governments.
Now, usually I just swarm. I'm not like, because usually when I get the giants, I just continue in every level with some archers. And
we might have to. We probably should have done that.
But I wanted first came out. They did win this way. Because the Spiritans are beefy and badass.
If they were boiling on our statue.
I might just want to make if we lose this, I might just want to make the executive decision to just bid where we actually, fight is a good fight.
Shame. Let's try it again. But, yes. I said we won't talk about politics. We're talking about touchy subjects such as evolution, because a lot of people believe in it. A lot of people base their lives off of it. Philosophy, religion ultimately is something is like a philosophy, because people base their lives off of it, around it. And people do the same thing with philosophy. Ideology, that's why ideology is so strong. It's like how communism can have such firm believers in it, because it is something to believe in, and men,
even though it's never worked, not even once,
ultimately crave to believe in something. Well, the people who ultimately go to the top in that kind of society that it ultimately sets up, even unintentionally, are despots. They will take the real believer, right, and kill him because he's in the way. He's dangerous now. The firm believer, the guy who wants to build that kind of society, is the first one to die. He's the first one to get killed. It's always happened. Look at Trotsky. A lot of communists love Trotsky, but he died in exile and was assassinated by Stalin. Stalin, the real type of man who takes over in communist society, had an absolute iron grip. People were afraid of him. The police would come and take you and your family away in the night. He did purges. He is the type of man who takes over in a communist society. The problem with communism is that, funny how they say religion is an opiate of the masses, but the withdrawal symptom from an opiate is death. Once you smoke an opiate, you can never stop. There is no cure. It kills you.
The analogy.
Karl Marx, religion was the opiate of the masses. He said it was make-believe. It was something that people worshipped to make themselves feel better. He was an atheist who wanted to get rid of all religion for whatever personal vendetta that he possibly could have.
There's a long list of personal vendettas he can have.
There's a long list. He was a which I always find hilarious when they talk. His friend in England, a noble who owned a factory.
So why didn't they kill him if he was responsible for... He would be almost primarily responsible for things such as horrible hours, slave-like labor, and underpay.
Well, yes, but communists, most communists don't really think about things like that. There's two types of communists in this world. I have discovered through my study of human psychology. There's the people who generally believe in it, who aren't really told much about the original founders, or the people who usually trumpet it in these countries, like Tsarist Russia, which was the nobility, the boyars, who had lost power in the last century under the increasingly central authority, starting with Peter the Great, the central authority of the Tsar. And places like, North Korea, which kind of threw away the communism aspect and venerated the leader, who was very charismatic, the first guy. Very charismatic. He was a general who fought against the Japanese.
Wardy?
Yes. And brave, honestly. He did fight against the Japanese. He took over, honestly, like the kings of old.
He won, basically?
He won. The United States held South Korea. In essence, we allied with South Korea, who rebelled against him. I think it's a little more complicated than that, honestly, but we allied with South Korea, and clear that North Korea and that really just kind of got rid of the whole communism and replaced it with the venerate the leader and his family. A monarchy, actually.
Basically.
Like an old style, mandate of heaven monarchy. In North Korea, the Hermit Kingdom, because of isolation as it is still held that way.
Expensive.
It's very expansive, and there's
Everybody fall back.
it's time to start running. Now, there was a lot of that going. There was a lot in the Renaissance. I guess they called it the Enlightenment. There was a lot. They call it the Enlightenment now, because you can tell what I can. You want to guess which ideology ultimately ran out in Europe? The newer one. The foundation of socialism, communism, secular, atheistic thought. As atheism is bigger in Europe than it is anywhere else. Aside from, I guess, places like, no, Europe's pretty atheist. From the political power of the church itself, where it was decided that the church had become too worldly, and they tried to bring the basics, what they believe to be political, which is spiritual. The continents, even though the Americas.
Which one?
Right. So yeah, a lot of modern problems also relate to, even though a lot of places are founded in the same ideology, and originally.
Well, that's that, everybody.
Nah.
You got another minute or so to wrap up what you're saying.
Alright. Yeah. A lot of the places originally had the same ideology, built in the same foundation, but have since changed. They've since drifted apart.
And that's why I think that back to what this conversation was going about, that's why I feel like that's why the crusade discussion doesn't really, in all reality, count.
Christianity then, Christianity now. When it was considered Christian, is different. Now, nowadays, Christianity is you believe in Jesus. Back then, is what if you followed the Catholic Church. See, Orthodox people were Christian.
And even what considered as a Muslim was even different back then.
Yes.
It was a very different world where everybody killed everybody because, in the end, because they could and because they wanted what everybody else had, and they would use any excuse to get their hands on it. Some used religion, and some just told you that they wanted your shit. And that's that.
Yep.
And that's the end of this episode, everybody. I hope you all enjoyed.
Yes.
Bye-bye.
We'll see you all in the next part. Bye-bye.